Hello, beautiful spiritual beings. It's B from Being Blissfully Zen. Welcome back to my channel, and may you open up to your full spiritual potential now. Have you ever noticed that just when you think you're making progress in your life, everything seems to become more difficult? Perhaps your anxiety suddenly increases, relationships become challenging, financial worries appear, your health is tested, or life simply feels uncertain. You might even find yourself wondering, why is this happening? I thought I was growing spiritually. If you've ever felt this way, you are certainly not alone. Today, I'd like to explore a perspective that has brought me comfort during this difficult season. What if the challenges you're facing are not necessarily signs that you're on the wrong path? What if they are preparing you for the next chapter of your life? Let's explore that together. One of the greatest misconceptions about spiritual growth is that once we awaken, that life should become easy. Many people believe that if we're meditating, praying, practicing mindfulness, or consciously healing, then difficult experiences should simply disappear. But life doesn't seem to work that way. In fact, many people discover that after they begin healing, they become more aware of their emotions, their fears, and the patterns they've been carrying for years. It can actually feel harder before it feels easier. Not because you're failing, but because you're finally seeing what was always there. Awareness shines a light into places that were once hidden. And once we see those places, we have an opportunity to respond differently. Nature gives us beautiful examples of transformation. Think about a caterpillar. Before it becomes a butterfly, it enters the chrysalis. From the outside, everything appears still, but inside, extraordinary transformation is taking place. If we judged only by appearances, we might think that nothing is happening. Yet, everything is happening. Sometimes our own life feels like that. We may feel stuck, confused, even lost. Yet beneath the surface, we may be developing qualities that cannot be rushed, like patience and compassion, faith, and resilience. These are often the very qualities that help us navigate whatever comes next. Something I've noticed in my own life is that challenges often reveal where I still have healing to do, not because I'm being punished, but because life has a remarkable way of showing us the places that still ask for our attention. For example, if uncertainty creates overwhelming fear, perhaps life is inviting us to deepen our trust. If criticism completely knocks us off balance, maybe we're learning that our worth doesn't depend on other people's opinions. If we constantly feel the need to control every outcome, perhaps we're being invited to loosen our grip and discover that we can still find peace even when the future isn't clear. Challenges can become mirrors, not to judge us, but to help us understand ourselves more deeply. One lesson that has changed my own perspective is understanding the difference between resistance and acceptance. Resistance often sounds like this: this shouldn't be happening. Why me? Everything is going wrong. Acceptance doesn't mean we enjoy difficult situations. It doesn't mean giving up. It simply means acknowledging reality as it is so that we can respond wisely instead of reacting from fear. When we stop fighting reality, we free up energy to make thoughtful choices. Acceptance allows us to ask a different question. Instead of, why is this happening to me? We might ask, what can this experience teach me? That small little shift can change everything. We often imagine breakthroughs as external events, like a new relationship or a new career, perhaps financial freedom or improved health. And while those things can certainly happen, some of the greatest breakthroughs occur quietly within us. The breakthrough may be finding peace where there was once panic, responding calmly where we once reacted, choosing compassion instead of resentment, trust instead of fear, forgiveness instead of bitterness. These inner shifts may not make headlines, but they can completely change the way we experience life. When life feels uncertain, I gently remind myself of a few things. First, I come back to the present moment, because most anxiety lives in imagined futures. And I breathe deeply and spend time in nature whenever I can. I remind myself that I don't have to solve my entire future today, only this moment. I also ask myself, who do I want to be while I'm moving through this? Not, how do I control everything? But, how can I show up with kindness, courage, and integrity today? Those questions help me return to myself. One of the messages I return to again and again is this: we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That doesn't mean we won't experience fear or sadness or uncertainty. It means we can remember that those experiences don't define the deepest part of who we are. We are all of our experiences combined as we move through life, not identities we become. When I remember this, I find it easier to meet challenges with curiosity instead of hopelessness. I may not know exactly what tomorrow holds, but I can choose how I meet today. So if you're moving through a difficult season right now, if life feels uncertain, if it seems like every step forward is followed by another challenge, perhaps this isn't the end of your story. Perhaps you're becoming stronger, wiser, more compassionate, and more resilient. Not because life is trying to break you, but because growth often asks something of us before it reveals what comes next. We don't always understand our challenges while we're living them. Sometimes it's only when we look back that we recognize how much we've grown. So be gentle with yourself. Keep taking one small step at a time. Trust that every moment offers an opportunity to respond with greater awareness, kindness, and courage. And above all, remember who you are. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever looked back on a difficult season and realized it helped shape you in an unexpected way? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with someone who might need a little extra encouragement today. Until next time, beautiful spiritual beings, I'm wishing you peace, presence, and the courage to awaken to your full spiritual potential. So until next time, be blissful, be zen, and I'll see you soon.